the Hoodwink model now. I want to see that. How many Hoodwinks did we see that say, by the way? I think it was two?
One or two.
One or two, yeah. I can't remember either.
All right, so I'm excited
I feel
for...
like one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember who picked it, but I'm excited to see it finally in the model here.
The one I remember did win.
Yes, it did win. Oh, I remember. It was SG versus No Ping. It was game 2 of SG versus No Ping. Storm kept trying to kill the Hoodwink, never killed her, and he died, and they lost the game. It was No Ping that went for it. And we do have No Ping in the second series, so maybe it shows up
Correct.
again.
10 seconds remaining.
Centaur War Runner.
Wait, didn't Hoodwink won the only game here, didn't it?
5 seconds.
Yeah, so we said Hoodwink won.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said the Hoodwink lost. Okay, I got you.
No.
I got you.
No.
Yeah, actually, I just brought up our region stats, and we're pretty meta, here in South America compared to the other regions. I mean, our top 5 featured heroes in the drafts are Puck, Timbersaw, Beastmaster, Jug, and Earth Spirit. There is Invoker at 6th place, which maybe is a little bit higher than some of the other regions. But like our most
specialist thing.
Yeah. Our most picks are all the same too. Snapfire is fairly high, like the 4th most picked hero across the region.
Okay. Well, here you go. This is a counter to the Centaur. We've jokingly talked about Void being very good. AoE, lock him down. Puck, likely banned. So here you got 2 pretty good supports to deal with Centaur. Now, it does go both ways. He can stampede in and kill both these guys. But all things equal, some good catch. And an early Lina pick now for Thunder Predator.
I love this. I think it's a really strong lane, and it also flexes to mid. So this is a really good draft from TP. I really love their chances right now.
Yeah, Lina's got some sauce right now.
Yeah.
That shard is no joke. Obviously, just got the big buff. I mean, this is the double buffed AoE lane.
True.
That's what this is.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true. Wow.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, Lina... Like they actually nerfed the cooldown on LSA, but once they made the passive last for longer, it's almost as if the cooldown is the same. Like yes, the problem is you get less LSAs in lane, but also the fact that you can keep the passive going with only casting either Dragon's Slave or LSA is such a big buff for the hero. I think this hero is low-key busted. We didn't see a lot of it, but as we said, they're still learning the patch. I feel like we're going to start seeing a lot of Lina.
I guess 9th pick, so it's your safe bet, right? Doesn't reveal anything. It's the other big benefit here. I think Leo's played a lot of Lina.
Yeah, let me double check here, but I'm pretty sure he's a very flexible man.
Looking for a couple of beefcakes for Unknown, though, at this point, right? I mean, starting with the Grimstroke and the Lion, very likely your support duo. Of course, there is a potential for the Grimstroke mid, but we've yet to see it make its return in this patch. And you're probably going to need some decent initiation here. I'm thinking like my Tide or something to kind of waddle its way through the middle of these fights.
By the way, Lina, top 10 most played heroes from Leo style, so definitely right, Zayuri.
Okay, top 10, sniped it.
Troll ban. So they're
Troll,
taking a lot of
Monkey
this,
King. I wonder whose lane they're helping.
But we look at that. That should answer your question right there. Is Mars still good? There's a Centaur and a Lina picked, a 2 and a 3, and they still ban the Mars. That's how good this guy is.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird, though, right? Because you have the first pick of the next phase. So they either don't value Mars or they really have another pick that they want to go for, right? Maybe, I mean, Venomancer looks pretty bad against Centaur. Maybe something like an Enigma.
I'm a little surprised as well. A lot of these really good catch heroes. What about Clockwork against the Centaur? That's one that's been forgotten about.
I think he's good, but I don't think he's a good core. So if they still had a support to pick, I guess Grimstroke. There's a 2% chance it's a mid Grimstroke, but overall probably.
Earthshaker's in that same category. Okay against Centaur, but not really too pickable here.
Yeah. Well,
I think we're just going to have to take Doom, guys. Don't know what to do.
They could pick their one, right? They see the Centaur and the Lina. They could just take Jug.
Radiant
Yep.
team pick.
I
Okay.
like
Slarman.
this hero.
This is my boy, dude. I was talking about this yesterday. He got picked. He looked like hot garbage. I think Drakeel played him and had a really rough game.
But
I still stand by my Slardar.
did someone call the
10
doctor?
seconds remaining.
Because they don't know anything about the lane where the Slardar is going to go. So they could just get like Witch Doctor +1. They're going to go for the Oracle instead. Fair enough.
The opposite.
I'd rather just get the Witch Doctor, but fine. Oracle's really strong. Can save people who are being targeted down by the Lion and the Grim.
Yeah, the Dispel for Inkswell in case it's Grim 4. Really strong in that lane.
10 seconds remaining. Radiant team.
Okay.
Ooh.
They got some ideas here. That's what this looks like. This is like they're not really considering that many factors of Thunder Predator.
Radiant team.
This looks like some strat stuff.
I mean, the Morphling performance in the last series from Unknown was amazing. So I get it why they're going for this hero. I also feel like they knew Juggernaut was not a possibility on Thunder Predator once they got this Slaughter. So I think the Morphling answers most of the other heroes that are left.
But we'll
I
have
like this Wraith
Minos
King, by
on
the
the Wraith King. It's a pretty big hero for them. Very strong lane. Opens up rotations for the Lina if it's a 4, or they can just go for a different position 4 as well.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's like Thunder Predator's lineup is pretty well-rounded, and I like all these heroes, but it doesn't seem like they have any kind of real clear-out draft. Like, they've got pretty good setup for Wraith King when he comes back to life. Morphling can steal a lot of stuns here. He can kind of morph into any of these cores and feel okay about it. There's already a lot of stuns on Unknown also. Going to be a pretty wild mid-game, I think, looking at these lineups.
Yeah, I know why they went for the Wraith King, but I don't think it's a good matchup versus the Morphling, because in this matchup, they already against a lot of minus armor. Wraith King struggles a lot against that. It just feels like this Wraith King might have 3 lives with the Oracle, but they might not matter, because he's just going to be stun locked and die in 3 hits once he's corrosive haste. But it's Thunder Predator. They obviously have a plan. I think they are the better team, but I'm surprised. Like, this is really bold for them, getting the Wraith King against Morphling.
And then their heads on their shoulders here. And the Huskar just in case with the Oracle. And I was actually thinking Tiny for Unknown looked pretty good.
I mean, this is good though, right?
Yeah.
They can swap Lina and Tiny, so good way to.
Yeah, I think if I got left in, there's a chance for that as well, maybe. But the Thunder Predator pick's just like perfect, because there's the Lion and the Grimstroke you can try and blow up. You already have the Lina to try and blow up the Morphling too, and so if Tiny gets one of these fast blinks, like I was casting NA last night, and just like the blinks and the veils are coming out so fast from the Tinies that they just they can essentially annihilate anyone.
And now there's 3 forms of AoE stun on Thunder Predator, so that. Like, disable advantage I was talking about for Unknown kind of feels like it's shifted to Thunder Predator now. Both have a lot of good control options, but yeah, this is solid. I think the Oracle fits really nicely into what Thunder Predator are going to want to do. I see why they picked it. They had a vision as well.
This is one of those games where if it was not Unknown playing, I would like to see a Robo-Z Morphling, and they would get like a Jug. Or I feel like this Morphling, as you said, playing as a carry, he might just get bursted depending on how the early game goes. I would like to see this Morphling getting more levels so that he's not going to suffer that much in the mid game.
It's a good call. I agree with you that although that sounds good, they probably won't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Void Spirit or something that does like a little bit more physical and can jump
what about
around.
Like DP?
They just banned it.
Yep.
Themselves.
Oh gosh, you're right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I like Void Spirit, a Storm, anything that can kill the Oracle before the fight. I think they really need that. Slaughter's going to get a blink, but not that much gap.
Storm with Morphling can be pretty nice. Yeah, there it is. Okay, you've got 2 forms of pretty long range initiation, kind of 3 if you count the Slardar on top of that. This at least gives them a chance, I think, to pop that Oracle, make MJZ's life difficult. But we're going to get to see the Leo-style Tiny. Great drafting here. Moose will take the Lina. So the Lina that we thought was going to be mid out of the gate ends up being a switcheroo. A Frank Centaur on top of that. Okay. Unknown. Are they keeping us in the dark here?
Taking their time with their finalized picks here. Yeah, I feel very good about the setup here from Thunder Predator, though. I think Unknown didn't like they have the last pick, and it's not really like the best feeling one. Like, sure, it's Oracle versus Storm, so it feels kind of good to be the Storm. But if he makes one mistake, he's just dead. That's kind of why I like the Void Spirit a little bit better in some ways, because I feel like you're almost a little bit more slippery in these engagements. It looks kind of dangerous to me for Robo-Z.
Yeah, it has so many stuns. It's rough. I think the Morphling and the Storm have to play this game perfectly for them to win this.
I'm inclined to agree. Looks challenging here, but we've seen some wild stuff happen in these South American games. Bigger upsets have occurred already. Wild to say, as we're only in week 2 of 6 right now. Storm Spirit, Morphling, Slardar, just the heroes to pop off and make this series really interesting against the heavily favored Thunder Predator. And back to the Wraith King. I'm sure this will make Gary B a happy young lad. Yo, GB, how's it going with T-Bone over there? You guys ready for some more action? You guys ready for a little Wraith King?
Hello. Sorry, I just sat back down. Sorry, I had to go quickly grab a drink of water. I saw we are going to have a remake, as the admins going to have to change lobbies, I believe. Yeah, so I just popped away very quickly. But we're here. We're ready for some Dota 2. Sorry, Zayori. That's all. That's my fault, don't worry. But yeah, we'll jump ourselves into the lobby. Game 1, Theban. How you liking these 2 drafts?
They're looking very interesting. Both teams have plenty of disables. I think one team has a little bit of a better team fight, but on the side, and that team is Thunder Predator, by the way. And on Unknown side, I think they have a little bit more potential in terms of winning lanes. So quite even drafts, I would say, at the end of the day here, Gary.
Yeah, looking pretty good, like the Storm last pick, like the panel was saying, looking for that hero that can actually hunt backlines, grab the oracles, stop that kind of saving potential. But yeah, do we want to bring the panel back on? We can jump to a quick break. We are going to remake the lobby fully, get ourselves back into things, and then get back with some Dota 2 action. So see you guys in just a couple of minutes.
Hola a todos, soy Romel Quinteros, tengo 20 años, me conocen como BO o MJC en otras regiones y soy parte de Thunder Predator como posición 5. Fue una buena experiencia para todos, más que todo por creo que el puesto que llevamos, que fue el top 6 al final del torneo. Y aprendimos muchas cosas como equipo y como personas dentro y fuera del juego. La verdad que son muchas, o sea, creo que la que más memoria tengo y la más interesante que fue contra Secret. El primer juego y el segundo juego no fueron los mejores juegos, pero me gustó mucho cómo jugaran ellos. De verdad, se sintió muy diferente. En la fase de grupos esperamos tener al menos el top 2, ya que queríamos ir a la Winner Hacker. Una semana antes de la Major que estábamos practicando, los scrims estaban yendo muy bien, así que teníamos como que ya buenas expectativas ya desde ahí. Y en cuanto al torneo, el main stage para lo que seguía, viendo que estuvimos top 1 en el grupo 6, sí se sentía que se podía llegar a más en el main stage ya en el playoff.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are. We are in all pick mode. We've got all our heroes picked, and we are going to be cracking on with this series. Game 1 theme is ready, underway. Everyone has the correct heroes, and we've got Thunder Predator going up against Unknown. We'd probably say Thunder Predator have the upper hand here in terms of who we expect to be winning this. But we've seen the strength of, Timo and Morphling, the fact that Unknown, they've got some tricks up their sleeve, how they want to play the map, especially.
Definitely. I think Unknown is a black dark horse kind of team.
Dark horse, yeah.
Dark horse kind of team. Like, they got really good, talented players. It's just a matter of whether they're gonna be able to play the map out properly in the mid and late game. Actually, that's been the story with most of these tier 1 teams, hasn't it, Gary?
It does, yeah. And, you always think to the Beast Coast games where you have that moment where you're 20 minutes in thinking, we're ahead, we're winning. And then they're split pushing, they're cutting waves behind you, they're taking those, the single perfect team fight that tips the scales in their favor. That's the real experience showing.
It's actually something I've noticed lately on this current map. Split pushing has become a lot easier. It's just like a natural feeling I'm getting playing the games. It's harder to go into the high ground, force the enemy back because they're always split pushing. Well, I guess teams are and players are getting better at it. But it's just like how the map is laid out now, especially with the outposts and things like that. It just feels much easier to be able to split push and try to crawl your way back into a game.
Especially with all these new, juke spots in the trees and the addition of trees around towers, especially like on the left-hand side of the map, Radiant side in particular. I think you're right. It feels just more comfortable.
Definitely.
Looks like we're just going to get ourselves the 2-for-2 bounties. No contest.
I like that. So I've been playing in Division 2, Gary. I've played 2 series since like the last time we casted, or we casted once, but yeah. And what I've noticed is in games, like when you're inside the game, it feels much different than when you're watching it, right? You just want to get 2 bounties and call it a day, Gary. You don't want any random shenanigans happening. You don't want any bullshit where like you go somewhere, you think you're the one dominating, you're going to get 3 bounties, or you might get a kill and 4 bounties. More often than not, you're going to get messed up. You're going to lose more than you expect. And then when you go to the lanes, you're going to be like low mana or have to use your 100 gold TP. It just doesn't feel good, Gary. You just want to, like, especially if you feel like you got a good draft and your draft is better than the opponent's, you just want to settle for 2 bounties and that's it. Play the game out.
I've been trying to get this into the heads of the people I'm playing pubs with, and everyone's just so greedy. I've been playing Centaur and his offlane heroes a lot, and I just want to get a bounty rune and go to my lane. I don't want to be wasting mana on a stun. I don't want to be running at enemy Ursa who's going to get stacks of his Fury Swipes on me. I just want to go to my lane and play some Dota 2. That's what we're going to have here. So Thunder Predator, Lina Centaur top lane. That is some nasty stuff against... Oh, dearie me.
Against
Timo's
Morphling.
Already feeling the brunt of it, isn't he?
Morphlings hate playing against these long-ranged right-click stunner heroes like Lina, whose Light Strike Array is much better than, like, for example, Mirana Arrow, right? You can dodge that, but it's really hard to dodge the Light Strike Array, so... Shoulder here, he's gonna need to really tank up some of these right clicks from moves so Timo doesn't. It's a very hard lane. But looking at bottom as well, this is a very hard lane for the Wraith King. You got a Slaughter Lion. This is one of my favorites. You got double stuns. Your Slaughter is against a melee core. Oh, still watching top a bit. Just some bully stuff going. There's a healing
back and
stuff.
Forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The fact that Slaughter naturally likes to play against these melee pos ones gets up in their face, and Lion against Oracle, you're just going to be clicking, spamming out stuns here and there. Seems like the offlaner's been given some very good matchups.
Definitely in this game, and I think MNZ, his plan is to get some skeletons. Later, if the Slaughter goes on, you can pop the skeletons, maybe get a trade or something. But yeah, MJZ, ooh, the damage is real, Gary.
It is. Just a bash and a crush and a few little clicks. He's probably going to be forced to salve himself. It does give Minos that time to, farm under tower reasonably safely. And then we start to think, with side lanes having such kind of oppressive matchups from the offlaners and pos 3s, these mid laners are going to have to alleviate that. Tiny and Storm, both pretty good at TPing to side lanes, when they get themselves a couple of levels. It does feel like,
Gary.
What's that?
I like how you linked the 2 lanes into the third, the mid lane right there. Bam. That's some real professional stuff right there. Yep. And you're completely right. These runes are going to be very important for both these heroes. In terms of lane matchup, though, Storm, he's going to be dominating a Tiny for the most part. every time he walks in, he might just get Electric Vortex, take a bunch of damage from the Overload into a Static Remnant, into another Overload. So Leo style, he's got to be a little bit careful not to take too much damage. And whoa, there it is, the first blood. They got him.
Yeah, they're level 2 up top.
Stuns.
Get the stuns onto that Teemo Morphling. I mean, you know, it's a story we've seen before because SHCC, he's pulling. He's dragged that wave back, and Morphling just, you know, a little bit too far forward.
Exactly.
He's got caught out.
You really got to just stay in the lane with the Morph in this situation. Let him get to at least level 3. So he got a little bit more of that strength gain. Won't be chased down. But it's a really tough lane, Gary, against Alina. Look at him. 6 last hits on this Morph. Feels awful.
Yeah, and it's not going to stop. They just go straight back onto Teemo. Get the stomp after the Light Strike Array. Grimstroke will force back Frank a little bit. But you've just returned to lane, and you're still burning through a lot of this regen incredibly quickly. While down at bottom, they do get a catch onto MJZ. Oracle getting stunned, crushed and bashed again. The Fortune's End, but into the Hex. And the Lion will try and finish it off with a Fairy Fire. The final bash is there. Sacred. It was close call, but he does get the kill. Top again. Oh, the Morphling!
No,
he just gets shredded!
No, he's still got his
DP's on
cooldown. Exactly. And the lane's pushing into Frank. So Frank's going to hold his lane right nearby his tower. Morphling has to walk all the way back top or just sit in the fountain for the next 12 seconds. He's probably just going to sit in the fountain for 12 seconds.
He's walking back and forth.
Oh, he even bought another TP scroll? Hold on, Teemo. What's going on, buddy? Why'd you buy another TP scroll? Or no, he had one, right? Because he died 2 times, plus he walked up. Okay, he's had that TP scroll. All right.
That's fine.
I got scared there almost, Gary. It's really bad to buy TP scrolls in the early game nowadays. Yup.
So much expenditure. But yeah, he's now got this dire wave that's still going to be pushing towards Frank. He's incredibly happy with the way things are going, and Moose just keeps on going. Right-clicking, stunning, forcing him to shift that Agi into strength.
They're going to need RoboZ to get a power rune and try to make a rotation top, get the kill onto the Centaur. But the Centaur's going to have a Hood by the time RoboZ even gets up there. And Hood counter Storm pretty hard, Gary.
Yeah.
Gary, my snail.
All right, SpongeBob. My girlfriend went back home to Russia for a couple of weeks, and she was telling her friends, about me. They're asking what my name is. Yeah, we call him Gary. The first thing they said, "Oh, like Gary the snail from SpongeBob," and she goes, "Yeah, I've never heard that one before."
Oh man,
so original. He's a cute little fella though, is Gary. So I'm not too worried about being called a snail.
Okay,
it's fine by me. So Storm Spirit's left that mid lane and is jungling now. Is that because RoboZ's afraid of the Tiny, or is he kind of just hiding where he is on the map?
I think he feels with the low resources he has and without any bottle charges, it's much better to just take the safe farm in the jungle, get this level 6 first, go back to base, heal up, and then try to make a move on the map. Plus, he's off the map, so it's possible Thunder Predator are also considering that maybe the Storm is moving somewhere. So that just that threat staying off vision.
The threat from the fog.
Very valuable. Sacred is level 5, by the way, bottom. He's really strong down here. But the problem is MNZ keeps summoning these skeletons and pushing the lanes out with that. And he's not able to get out there. I like this pick, the Wraith King, to try and deal up with the Sawdar. That's very interesting. Normally you would see like Troll Warlords, but this is nice.
Yeah, that's right, because he's pushing, he's regenning with that Vampiric Spirit. So he's having a pretty good time. And then mid lane,
you try to go for a kill?
The Tombo onto Storm brings him pretty low.
From RoboZ there before the avalanche came out. Teemo, he's stunned, but he's gonna lose not too much. Just has to click his attribute shift. That lane only gets better once he's level 5 on Morphling. For now, he's only got 70. The Centaur has the same amount of denies the Morphling has last hit, Scary. Holy smokes.
Well, that's amazing for Frank.
That is so amazing. Really bad for Teemo, though.
Yep, pretty rough. But yeah, the next question I was going to ask you, watching RoboZ, who does dip back into the jungle again, just kind of cycling through the mid lane into jungle, do you want to go and gank top lane into a Centaur with the Hood, like you were saying, it's a difficult lane to move into, to alleviate pressure from the Morphling, or do you put more pressure into that Slardar lane to force Wraith King into a rough position?
I think the only way you can make some plays with Storm right now is if the Centaur's out of position, but right now they're going to go on him and it's going to fail. they are not going to be able to kill Frank. They got to get the lead now. Moose is the one they got to get.
The Oracle's also here. Fortune is going to come in for 3 of them.
Yeah,
they got the Stomp, the Stampede, double edge, and down you go. Grimstroke, Shredded, Robo-Z, and Teemo have to run too. They're trying to burst through the storm. He's on full retreat mode now, and I think they just have to leave this lane.
Yeah, this is the worst thing that could happen as a Storm. You went to base, you healed up, you TP somewhere to make a gank, you don't get the kill, you use all of your resources, and you don't even have that much mana to be able to jungle with anymore. And the Morphling is still being pressured up.
Massively. Yeah. It's a rough one. I mean, at least Slardar is continuing to farm very nicely. 56 and 11 for Sacred. He's going to get himself into a hood after the treads on the bracer. Yeah, he's moved back in as a Storm Spirit. With the chain disables they've got, though, they just burst straight through him. Storm Spirit, not a place you want to be up in that top spot, with a tri-lane turn into a quad lane as Tiny has a DD. Oh, SHCCD, he's just going to get zapped, isn't he? Avalanche toss, burst through the Grimstroke, easy as you like for Moose with a double kill.
It's got Arcane Boost now on Moose as well. And meanwhile, Wraith King bottom, he's very free. Again, these skeletons, this Slaughter is having a real tough time trying to push a lane out against this. So now the Storms game has also been deleted. Morph is very sad. What do you do now is unknown, Gary. What do you do?
Farm jungle?
I guess make some stacks. Yeah, they got some stacks going at least. That's good.
So at least that Orchid timing for Storm isn't going to be too sad and too slow. He's still going to get a reasonable time.
Pretty sad and slow. It's still going to be very sad and slow. 2 stacks ain't going to make up for whatever just occurred in the top lane here. Thunder Predator now up 3k gold. Wait, I heard a Laguna Blade. Where did that? He tried to kill him mid. He tried to make a play onto the Morphling.
It looks like, did he use it on a creep or something? They ball onto the Centaur top. I mean, Lion and Storm, they're having a crack at this. Vortex Frank. Slardar's trying to get there, but he's far too distant to actually make an appearance in that fight.
Yeah,
Centaur with an Oracle behind him is just absolutely unbreakable.
Exactly. Like, the Centaur is so tanky with the hood, and the Storm keeps ganking the Centaur with the hood. That's just not what you want to be doing. You want to be making your own aggressive moves on the map, where you're not playing into the enemy's aggressive parts. Like, top is already dead, the tower is dead. You can't really regain part of this map. Go bottom. Kick the Wraith King out of his lane. Make the Wraith King go take Centaur's farm. And then you might even be able to take a tower bot yourself. But the pace that the Unknown is playing, they're going to keep losing map control. They're going to fall behind in farm. And if the Wraith King gets a Radiance at about what are we looking at here? 15 minutes right now, Gary?
Fast.
Maybe even 14
faster.
and a half? Yeah. That's going to be a disaster for Unknown.
And you can kind of feel it and see the warding that the Dyer's actually got placed down right now is very defensive around rune spots. Their top jungles kind of double warded around that mid lane as well. They haven't really had the opportunity, and I guess they don't really have the heroes right now to encroach on Radiant territory, get some aggressive wards down. So it has been very passive, get to items, and then think about the moves we can make. Whereas Thunder Predator, they're ready to smoke. They are making the moves now with a Blink Dagger on Tiny. They are ready to strike. Oh, if this Storm dies, or it's a good scan, I do catch a glimpse of where that Thunder Predator gank moves into. See, if that Storm died again, it is just an absolute tragedy for them.
Definitely. And the crazy part is, Gary, Leostar hasn't even had to do anything in this game. And they built up such a big lead. So right now we're going to see the Dagger Tiny come into play. See what happens. And I'm kind of surprised he didn't go for Grow. Like, that spell is so broken. 12 armor.
Yeah.
30 damage. He just skipped it.
Against the Slardar especially. Well, there's a smoke coming in behind them, and they find the Oracle. Light Strike Array and the Soul Bite, catching a couple of them, throw out a couple of spells as the Robo-Z Storm just zipping back in onto Frank, but the Centaur with a 4-man stomp holds them in place. 1-for-1 trade so far as Oracle is somehow still alive. There's the final click, and Frank, the Morphlings turn into him. So, the Centaur turn around and Tiny, he jumped in very aggressively there. He wanted the freebie on Lion, but there's the Crushan with that Corrosive Haze. Short work made of the Tiny. 4-for-1 in the end as Unknown. They get into action.
Oh, I love that. That was so nice. They got the Soulbind, they got the finger play. They find the Oracle because Thunder Predator were waiting a little too long with that, but yeah, look at that initiation soul bind. The pipe surprised me. That tanked up the double finger damage there, but it didn't really matter that much. You got 5 heroes. Wraith King's not joining this fight. You got Slardar, Corrosive Haze, just going on each target one by one. The Centaur pipe ain't gonna save you from that. And there it is. Boom. Tiny goes back and he wants to get 1 kill on the line. I think that was a huge mistake. He should have been split pushing or at least kill the creep wave off. So Unknown won't be able to push. But definitely not jump into a Slardar like that by yourself.
Yeah. Lion with a tiny counter, right? Fluffy hat, raindrops, and a few wand charges.
Yep.
I think he also popped a fairy fire as well.
I'm not too big of a fan of the magic wand completion because it's 150 gold that you'd rather have built to wear your dagger. But yeah, fluffy hat, raindrop, cloak, these are like the best items to counter Tiny.
Absolutely, and yeah, thinking about that pipe on Centaur, not often we see the pipe rush, is it? Quite often Hood, think about phase boots, but mainly concern yourself with a blink dagger for the Centaur. So Frank going for the more team-based item.
Kind of good though against Storm. And you saw the effect it did against the Soulbind. It literally tanked up the entire double finger damage. But like you said, it's a lot of gold that you're investing not towards your dagger, not towards your double initiation with the Tiny and the Centaur.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess when you've got Oracle Leaner on your team, you kind of want to tank them up. Pipe's going to help you kind of save your Oracle to then save yourself.
Exactly. And the biggest problem was Oracle dying and not being able to Fortune Send the Corrosive Haze off.
Yeah. Well, there's a 14-minute, 10-second Radiance for Minos on the Wraith King.
Yep. That's incredible. And they already got top and mid tower. Like, MNZ doesn't even have to do anything with this Radiance. He just has to run into the enemy jungle and farm. Doesn't have to take a tower or force anything. And wherever he wants to go, it's good enough. Alright, let's see what's up. They got a smoke ready. Yep.
They do.
We got an Aether Lens on the Lina. Blink Tiny. Lots of follow-up damage now, Gary.
Yeah, it's like that one fight was a kind of a sigh of relief for Unknown, but that pressure is relentless. I don't think Thunder Predator are ever going to stop moving forward. Frank just pushes out mid lane.
Shoulder's the one.
Shoulders Grimstroke. They're pinging the staircase that he's probably going to walk up.
Yeah, Leo Style went a different way, but I think he's still going to go for it. Yep.
There's the catch. Even without vision, Phantom's Embrace very quickly, though, comes in onto him. And Ink Swelling back. Soulbind's there. Grimstroke dies, but the Vortex from Storm Spirit forced the toss on the Slardar to stop any further initiation as the Centaur stands his ground. They've got the catch on Sacred now, stunning him as the False Promise saves moves. They kept the Lina alive to keep pumping damage forward. Are they going to get a single kill here? A toss back, the Morphling, he's stunned up. He's not got a way out. Well, he walks back. Moose does finally die, and they don't catch Teemo on his retreat.
That was a very nice silence there from the Grimstroke right away as soon as he saw the Tiny. It kind of bought some time for Unknown to try and do something. You know what surprised me more than the Centaur pipe? A Slardar pipe. What? Yeah. I'm like, where did that barrier come from onto the Grim? And I just see the Slardar as a pipe now. But yeah, Oracle, not the one being initiated on by Unknown, so he's able to just dish out those heals, False Promise on the Lina, but too much damage from the Morphling's Tombo.
Robozy? The Finger of Death onto Frank. They killed the Storm.
It's dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Look at Minos. The Wraith King decided it's time to play some Dota 2. PvP, not PvE. Onto the Grimstroke. Final little smackdown, and the Radiant's burning him, but the barrier actually keeps him alive. Slardar just drive-by barriers up the Grimstroke, gets him out of there, but still Unknown initiating with that Storm and losing out again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It feels so rough for this Morphling to find little pockets of farm. He doesn't really want to be showing on the map anywhere. You see Teemo just hiding in the trees while Thunder Predator all grouped up as 5, playing into their vision. And they will TP bottom. Tiny initiates onto Morph, tossed back into the tower. Stampede with a stomp is coming. Trying to catch up to Teemo. I mean, he's got 3,000 HP, but they should be able to whittle through it little by little. And Minos, he's gone for the backstab. He was hunting for Lion or the Slardar, and it looks like he might find Widge here. Burning with a Radiance and diving past that tier 1. He spots him, and the final jump from Leo Style will allow the Wraith King to get himself another kill. And now it's starting to feel like a foregone conclusion almost. Radiant starting to become far too tanky, and the hardcore counter to Storm Theban grouping up as 5.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Yep,
attack.
and clicking pipe. Storm, all Storm's damage is magical. Like the right click he does, sure, it's significant, but that's single target. Feels really bad. I mean, I always say this every time I see a Storm in a lineup. I always tell my team, guys, someone buy a pipe, and this guy is gonna have the worst time of his life.
And you're still going to get Blink Dagger at an okay time on the Centaur too. He went back for phase boot, so it delays it a little bit.
It's kind of okay because of how many stuns they have, right? You got the Lina with the Aether Lens, Lightning Striker, right? Then you already have the Tiny who can initiate with his Blink Dagger. So the pipe just kind of made his team so tanky, so confident to be able to take these team fights. What?
Oh,
didn't you have a blink on
holy
this
hand grenade? I'm not sure what that was.
I thought it was just gonna blink in and toss the Storm. Didn't really notice it. Maybe it was like a second cooldown still.
I'm gonna let him slip away.
I mean, at this point, if you're unknown, you might want to just like kind of turtle up onto your triangle,
Dire's top
wait for
tower
Thunder
is
Predator
under
to come in with their Tiny, maybe make a mistake, turn around, kill him, or let the Oracle walk into your vision, get some kills going. Because the way things are going right now, unknown, they're playing on too many lanes. The Sodar is soon going to be food if they decide to go on him. But actually, they decide to go on the other side because Sodar TP top. They want to take over the triangle instead. On Thunder
Kick
Predator.
that Morphling out. And you were talking about, you know, split pushing, feeling a bit more comfortable in this kind of map state, how it is right now. The heroes of Thunder Predator, though, very good at catching any hero that kind of slips behind tier 1s especially.
Yeah, the biggest thing about split pushing is you got to get rid of those tier 1s first, though. So they don't have that step 1 on the side of Unknown to begin with.
Ooh. Nearly found the Grimstroke. Moves guessed one direction. Unfortunately, incorrectly.
bottom tower is under attack.
And some long lines being drawn here, just like hem them in, block them from crossing the river. Soak
there
up
we
all
go,
these
Robo Z.
resources as they
Goodbye.
find the Storm Spirit, just chain stunned into oblivion.
They should just keep
And what is
going.
that
They
now?
shouldn't stop. You got Wraith King already pushing bottom. You got a TP ready to the tier 1 tower if needed. Just keep running into the enemy jungle, Thunder Predator. Kick them out. Don't let them farm anything.
Yeah, they had pretty perfect vision on them as well. They saw the Lion morph move top. So
Yeah,
a
we got
conscious
an Invis
decision
rune
here.
Gary, this is the Morphling killer right here. Invis rune. Oh, but he's already TPing out. He's already gone bottom.
He's out of there, and they're trying to catch Frank. And Minos starts onto Sacred with a couple of stuns from him, Frank, and
They should fight
MJZ.
this. This is an incredibly good fight for MNZ here. He's got his SNY complete. He's very strong. They're running into him. He's got the reincarnation. Nothing to hesitate about right now.
Oh,
Yes,
Grimstroke's been found. Leo tosses him into the Centaur.
Oh,
Good
silence.
silences, though. Phantom's Embrace with the Orchid. Frank, I don't know if he really cares about this. With the Corrosive Haze, he probably starts to care. Minos has arrived. They've got the False Promise behind him, though. So Oracle saves up Frank and Unknown. They've chucked all those spells at Centaur for little to no gain. And the push continues from the Thunder Predator side with a catapult wave here. Clear through the tier 2.
Yep, they can get top outpost now too. Very nice play there from Leostar to toss him into the Centaur, but nice play from the Grim to silence up the Centaur so he can't stun. And then got all of his mana drain. Thank you, Lion. Max out mana drain before Hex.
Are you a fan of that?
It depends. It's very game dependent, I think. I like the level 2 Hex at least, because it's much lower cooldown, but the max mana drain against these tanky heroes should be really good. Because you don't have the damage output to be able to kill Thunder Predator's heroes right now. But you can kill Roshan though! This is a slick move from Unknown. Very slick. I think Thunder Predator, they are dropping the ball right now, not thinking that Roshan is the most important objective at the moment.
And that's what we were saying
Very
at the start of this series. Unknown, you know, with some little tricks up their sleeve. Sneaking a Roshan here is huge for them. Giving it to RoboZ's Storm and Thunder Predator, they've realized, hang on a second, we missed something there.
Yep, and that's something that Thunder Predator definitely wanted. Oh, they're gonna TP out.
Oh, they catch the Morphling, and he's not the one with
TP'd on the tier
Aegis.
3 bottom. He messed up, Gary.
Oh dear.
Actually, they both messed up. RoboZ and Morph both TP to the tier 3 bottom. All they had to TP was to the base, to the fountain. you know, 3-second TP, just get out. But now the Morph is dead.
That's a good 35 seconds now for, what, tier 2 top. They grab the outpost, assert dominance on the rest of the map.
BKB next item for MNZ, so if ever he does die, when he revives, he can just click that BKB, run on in against these Disables of Unknown. Solid purchase.
And then we'd assume, what, Assault Cuirass coming up after that, get some bonus armor.
Wow. Gary, check out Centaur's items.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
He's got a halberd. Wait, Blink Dagger? Question mark?
No, not needed. You know what he's thinking about this halberd? He's like, okay, Tiny's gonna be my initiation this game. All I need to do is just be in the front lines, tank, maybe hit the tower. We can halberd the Morphling or the Storm Spear when they go in, and just fight off that. Plus, it gives him status assist, which is kind of nice.
That's real good, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think he just wants to play through Leo style here. And instead of playing that secondary jump, he just wants to be the tanky guy who can stand beside the Wraith King, soak the damage. To be fair, I still think Blink would have been great, just to be able to keep catching the Storm and Morph every time they split push, but this can't really go that wrong either.
Yeah, it's a good solid build. Great foundation for him as they do spot Teemo under an Observer Ward. Avalanche toss from Leo style into Minos with the Wraith Fire Blast, and Morphling gone for the 5th time this game.
Yeah.
Teemo just hasn't been allowed to play.
Point out where his net worth is on the chart here, Gary. Where is he sitting? Right behind the Lina, right behind the position 4.
Yeah.
The Slaughter and Storm are far more farmed than this Morphling. Like, this is a support Morphling at this stage.
Yeah, time to buy a Yule Scepter. Soul Ring, Yules, Tranquils, run around and stun people. I've also made a jump into tier 3s. The Soulbind comes with a double silence, but Sacred is being blown up here. A good 2-mana spike. They are doing a decent amount of damage onto Leo Style and Frank, but Sacred just loses his life, and without buyback, probably going to lose this bottom lane of barracks then, maybe even mid lane. Storm Spirit trying to zip through creep waves. I've got one pushing in mid though, so not a massive problem. And there's a jump from Leo Style onto Widge. Lion gets picked off. Dead for 30 himself. And it's just a bulldozer of tanky strength heroes. Centaur, Wraith King, Tiny with Oracle saving and buying even more space for them. And a lack of damage from Unknown. Can't get past that front line.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
Well,
And they do swing into mid. Nothing stopping them.
Dire's
yeah.
middle tower
They're so tanky, and Retaliate helps kill the towers even faster. MGZ
Frank.
just gonna keep healing the Centaur up too. Like, Unknown have to find this Oracle. There's no other way. They found
they
him.
do make the
with
jump.
BKB too.
And Robo-Z, he's got the Vortex there. And bursting through MJZ, they get the kill on the Oracle. Now, Frank,
That's a
the
good
target.
fight.
2-man Earth Spike. It's a great jump. Morphling going to take him down with a finger of
Gotta
death.
drain
Help
the
from
Wraith
Widge
King.
now. Onto the Wraith King. Try and drain him, but he's still got Reincarnation. He's burning them all with this Radiance. Down goes the Lion. And Lina, on this left-hand side,
wow.
still has Laguna Blade. Could pull the trigger. Looks
Gary,
like...
the
Oh, no,
Storm,
just retreated.
if he actually went in with the Storm, like after the Wraith King, after he revived with the Aegis, they would have got him. He only had 100 mana. Plus, he had the Corrosive Haze on top of him.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Too much fear.
Yeah. I think someone just didn't call out how much mana the Wraith King had left there. It would have been a very interesting play, but now MNZ is gonna get some mana from his team. Back in it, Magic Wand off cooldown again, so not really that afraid anymore.
And he's got an Assault Cuirass arriving. Skips the BKB, goes for that bonus armor. A DD rune spawned bottom for Leo Style. Oh, yes. Echo Saber, DD Tiny.
To be honest, I would have been very happy with the Morphling going some kind of a Diffusal Manta build. That being said though, he hasn't even finished his Manta yet. As a position 1.
27 minutes in, and he might be dying top, you know?
He'll spawn him again.
He's just not allowed to play. He's gonna get a good adaptive strike and retreat into the trees. Sacred finding moves. There's the chain disable onto the leader. Soulbind and Oracle being focused down now. Silencing him up. MJZ, can you turn with a false promise? Can you save yourself and buy more time? You're just gonna walk it back. As this tanky strength front line, it breaks through Unknown. Wraith King and that Centaur with that Tiny chasing Widge. No more blinks forward. So they'll now focus their efforts onto the mid lane of Barracks instead, knowing, again, Unknown, very unlikely to have buybacks. And a 4 versus 3 unlocks that mid lane and probably top again.
Their highest damage output hero right now is actually the slaughter of all heroes on Unknown. And without him
GG.
up, they can't do anything. Yep, GG, that's it. No, very solid, clean game from Thunder Predator, Gary.
Yeah, it sure was. Solid lanes. And like you said, a pretty good idea with this Wraith King up against the Slardar. He wasn't, as punished as, let's say, the Juggernaut, which we could have expected to come out, would have been a great all-round performance from Thunder Predator. 20-9 in a 27-minute game, and shutting down that Morphling from start to finish. There wasn't a point at which he could show on map. He couldn't really clear waves, couldn't farm. He was just being hunted non-stop.
I mean, his lane was awful. He died 2 times without a TP, and whenever